We are now
Hi
recording.
there. Hi there. I want to welcome everybody to the Ranked Choice Voting Subcommittee meeting on November 9th, 2021. It's raining cats and dogs out there, and then there's a little kitty in our meeting too. Thanks, Dorothy, for bringing the kitty. But I do want to. Some of our commissioners can't make it today, but I'm here with the Commissioner Lasher and Commissioner Gasquet, and we are just going to kind of go through some of the FAQs that are going to be that have to be available for the county site before December 31st, and we want to make sure that this gets to the county in time. So we'll start with this, and then I'll give everybody an update, and Commissioner Vendetti hopefully will be there, be here by then. So we'll start with the FAQs, which I sent to everybody out to everybody, and you can see them on your screen here. And so I was just kind of briefly go through these. These FAQs are taken from, like, some of them from San Francisco's site, some of them from the Ranked Choice Voting Resource Center site, but they're not taken from advocacy group sites. They're taken from sites that have implemented ranked choice voting, and these are the questions that they identified that their voters are asking. So that's why I thought these would be good places for us to pull information from. So you see the first question there is just, what is ranked choice voting? And it just goes through a super simple explanation of ranked choice voting. Like, how you vote, you get to rank your ballot, first choice, second choice, third choice, and then if your favorite doesn't win, that your voter counts for your next choice. I like this one, worded as it is. If anybody has any way that they would like to change this wording, I'm willing to consider, just bring it up at any time when we go through these. Ultimately, these FAQs will be sent to the communication teams in the county, and they may want to alter them, but this is just what I think that we should be sending them. Is this one look okay to you guys? Yeah. So the second one is, what is it like for voters? And they just simply compare it to choosing ice cream, which I think is a good kind of comparison. And then there's a few kind of non-advocacy benefits in the third question. It's basically around more choice, more say, a little explanation about that, about not having to worry about throw away your vote, or electing a candidate that you don't like. And then there's also the point about more issue-focused campaigns. There's a little bit about that, just because it can, it encourages candidates to speak to all their voters. And then there's a little bit about how it helps be a voice for the communities, because ranked choice voting better represents the community and not political parties. And then I added the last one, and so you guys can look at that, because I found this really compelling for me when I was talking, and I think it was brought up at the auditors meeting, but there's less sore losers. Because with ranked choice voting, if you don't get your first choice, you may have gotten your second choice or your third choice. So you kind of feel like you had that your vote mattered. If there's any other way that you guys think I should word that.
I like just what you said. Your vote matters.
Okay. Okay.
And maybe you need to stick that in there.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I really like that. Your vote matters.
Okay, so then there's just a and number 4 is just a little bit about what's happening. There are this last election that we just went through, and around the country, there are some more. I can update this. I think there was like 5 jurisdictions that passed ranked choice voting in the last election, and I can see if that would fit adding them here. But the biggest thing about this one is, I like the part where it talks about Alaska and Maine, that they have statewide ranked choice voting. Number 5 talks about political parties. And I think that's important because that comes up with the question for, for me is like, how do the political parties, is this, the Democrats trying to do something? Is this the Republicans trying to do something? And I think that ranked choice voting is very kind of bipartisan accepted as a way of voting. And so there's 2 examples, like Utah has really like used it in a lot of jurisdictions in Utah. And in fact, the election administrator in Utah, he was the one that presented to the Washington auditors here, and he talked about like all their cities that use it and all their counties that use it, and it's very well accepted there. And he says people really love it. So I think that that is good. I did put a little bit about Washington. That we do that it is broadly supported in Washington. Um, so that the 6th one, it talks about, because people ask about the top 2 primary and ranked choice voting, and like, oh, isn't this that kind of the same or whatever? So there's a little brief explanation there. We don't have to include that question if you don't want to, if the subcommittee feels like that's not necessary, and it's not something that they think people are going to ask about. But it does, there are similarities to the top 2 primary and ranked choice voting in how, what they were trying to achieve by that. And so ranked choice voting is just, in how it's put here, which I'm not sure, I want to get you guys to kind of weigh in on it, is that ranked choice voting expands those benefits of the top 2. And I don't know, how do you feel about the number 6 question? I can easily just erase that one.
For now, I'd take it out and just you might want to put it in later. I with the vote that just occurred on our amendment, was it 5? Um, it just seems to me that people have we just things trigger some people. It may trigger them the wrong way.
Yeah, and then, and I had kind of the similar thought, Doug, that since we are not having, we are proposing that there would be no top 2 primary, that there's no reason to mention it. So I agree. I think I should just take this question out. Everybody
You
good
may
with
want to put it back later on.
that? Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, so number 6, Anthony, welcome. I hope you weren't outside in that like horrible rain. It's
Yeah,
awful.
it's a little wet.
Yeah. We were just going through some of the FAQs that I sent out.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're at number 6 now. And number 6 is about what kind of problems with our current method of voting that ranked choice voting has improved. And the first part just talks about the lesser of 2 evils and people's feelings around voting. And that ranked choice voting can allow people to really cast an honest vote. And they shouldn't feel pressured that they to vote for somebody that they don't like, to prevent another one that they really don't like from winning, and do any kind of strategic voting. It also reduces vote splitting, where very similar candidates have support, because those candidates, of course, if they have that support, somebody would be like their second choice or third choice. So you wouldn't have to feel like, oh, I think this candidate. So there's just a few examples of things that ranked choice voting can do to improve our current voting method. Anybody have anything they want to add to that, or they're okay with that language? Anthony, I had told them that some of these I pulled off of the Ranked Choice Voting Resource Center. Some of them I put in there, and then some of them are from the San Francisco elections office. And and they're not from advocacy groups. These are actual questions that voters in their jurisdiction had wanted answered and that they include on their election site about ranked choice voting. So, okay, so number 6 is okay. And then there's number 7 is a brief explanation on how they're counted. And I like this explanation because, well, I like the first sentence that says after all first choice votes are counted, because I think people were a little confused. You know, I know there was some conversations that I had with people like going, oh, how is this going to look as we watch elections roll? You know, like, you know, we have mail-in voting, so every day we get a new, you know, new count and those kind of things. And so this wouldn't and what I think a lot of people didn't realize is that you would not have any rankings or any tabulations until all the votes are in, right? So that tabulation, and it happens almost instantaneously now with the software that we have. When that question was asked of the Utah election administrator, he's like, you know, it's almost instantaneous. Like you start your tabulations, you get results, and so there's no lag time. So once everything is counted, like if you take our current election that's happening right now, we still have 600 votes out. So no tabulations would happen until those 600, until there's all the ballots that are in the office are counted, and so that's why I kind of like this explanation of it. Does that make sense? And then I just added that, like, always count for the candidate you like the most, right? Because um, that's going to be your first choice. So that's always going to count for that. So, okay. And then the question that Doug was asking me earlier that everybody seems to ask is, do you have to rank every candidate on a ranked choice voting ballot? And it's like, no, you don't. You can leave all of them blank, or you can rank as many as you want, and it's totally up to voters. They can do it just as they do it now, with just picking their favorite candidate, and that's it. What is an exhausted ballot? Now this question came up because, you know, I was having conversations with, you know, like county auditor and stuff, and so I thought, oh, we need a better way to explain what a what and exhausted, because I was struggling to explain it. But so it's like better way to explain what an exhaustive ballot really is. So I don't, you guys can decide if you want this in here. Of course, the county auditor is interested in those kind of things, and you know, people that are in election implementation are interested in that. But if you think that voters might have a question about exhausted ballots, and then I'll leave it in.
Probably wouldn't hurt to keep it there. I'm thinking that, you know, these are questions and answers that are going to be out there after we're gone, and it probably would be helpful. And also something that the campaigns that will be involved can refer
Right.
people to, so it doesn't.
Okay.
You know,
That makes sense. I'll leave it in there. Right.
Yeah, and I agree because it also I look at it as the same question as, you know, what's an overcount and what's an undercount, what's an exhausted ballot. I think that it's kind of that one of those like technical things that somebody will see if they decide to do their research, and I think it'll
Right.
help from
Right.
that.
Yeah. It came up on in conversations that I had around the reason that we want to rank at minimum 6, because the rationale for that is like if you rank less than that, um, and this was talked about in that presentation as well, you have more of a chance of having people have exhausted ballots because they run out of candidates to rank before they're able to rank all the candidates that they would like to rank. So their ballot would be exhausted. That would be considered an exhausted ballot as well. That makes sense?
so do you have one in there where Can I
Well,
write
let's
in
get
a
through.
candidate?
Well, let's get.
Do you,
No, I don't, but I can do that.
okay,
Washington state law says that we have one write-in on our elections, and we will still have that with ranked choice voting as well.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but good point. But we'll get through these, and then I'll add that. So number 10 is, does ranked choice voting impact who runs for office? And there's just a little data there about places that use it, see more women and people of color, and that's why voters feel better represented when they can rank their choices. So, number 11, how does ranked choice voting change things for candidate? And I think this is important because this is one of the reasons that, you know, that I personally believe in ranked choice voting is because many times people just, you don't have to worry about splitting the vote with very similar candidates. But then also the negative campaigning. I know that we've seen, and there is data out there that you don't see all the negative campaigning, and I think there was a very kind of well-known race. I forget which one it was, where two candidates that were very very similar actually campaigned together. They had the same mailer, they had the same, these are the things we agree on, these are the things we don't. It was very minor, but it just makes for a positive campaign. And of course, because they want to earn your second, third choice if you don't get your first choice. Does that make sense? So do you think that we should leave that one in? And then this question for me comes up a lot. Is there a way to game the system? And so no. And then I think the first sentence just goes, there's politicians being politicians. They'll always try to use whatever mechanics are to their advantage. And generally what's happening now is politicians, go at each other and they try to tear down and try to show why they're the only candidate that can win. And so you're forced to choose just one option. With ranked choice voting, though, there is a more of a chance, like we said before in the sentence about the Senate sides, to find a common ground for each other and work together. If they do try to strategically campaign around ranked choice voting, they have to actually show that ability that we just talked about in the last two questions to work together. And so those are skills that people are looking for in somebody that represents them, to be able to go in. And that's not really gaming the system, as you can see when you put there. It's just being a good representative. So I'm all for that. Working together to find solutions there.
I have a question just as a former candidate. Uh, how does, I guess the auditor, is what they did. They would have a draw to see who's going to be on the top of the ballot. So they'll probably do the same thing as they develop a ballot and put the
Right.
order of the names on the ballot. So I'm assuming they'll do the same thing again, where there'll be a lottery, I guess.
Right. We are talking about that,
Okay.
and uh, we're probably not going to talk about ballot language today because we just got that back from Auditor Kimsey. But that is something that
It,
we are discussing, and so we'll talk about that at our next meeting after Dave O'Brien looks at the language that he has proposed, and it's included in 6.1. But I'm going to keep any kind of ballot language and hold that until next meeting, if that's
yeah.
okay.
Well, I just didn't know if that was a
It will be
question.
run.
It would
Yeah,
be a
it will
question.
be. Yeah, it will be run the same as anything else.
Okay.
As far as like the write-in votes and as far as where you're placed on the ballot, that won't change.
We may want a question about that. The mechanics of elections will be the same. Something, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me think about how to put that. Okay, so the next one, ranked choice voting, does ranked choice voting respect the principle of one person, one vote? And yes, in ranked choice voting, you do get, people get a little confused, like, oh, I can vote for 4 different times or 5 different times. You think so? Like, no, you do still only have one vote. And so ranked choice voting upholds that one person, one vote principle.
In the frequently asked questions, can you put a chart in that? Because that would be a good spot to put the little chart that you had for the survey.
Oh, you're talking about a little graphic?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
because that
we
would
can,
tell a
I can
story.
see if they can do that. Anthony, do you know how they set up the FAQs
It would
on the
have to
site?
be a question because they have some limitations because of just the website framework they're using for it. So we'd have to ask if it allows the use of photos with those drop downs. So that'll be worth
Okay,
asking.
we can ask that question though, Doug, to see if there can be some kind of
Yeah, that tells a
graphic.
story, that
Yeah.
graphic.
I know that eventually, the county will, once ranked choice voting is implemented, the county will probably have, something similar to like
Sure.
you go to San Francisco or, Minneapolis or Utah. They have, like lots of videos and, little ways to kind of explain ranked choice voting. And
Yeah.
so hopefully the county will have that on their site as well. Okay, do I need to rank all candidates? Did we already ask this question? Oh, no, we asked if, like, could I just rank one? So I might move this around and put that one next to where that first question that we asked. And it says, nope, you can rank as many you want, or you can leave them blank, whatever you want. And then will all ranked choice contests have 6 rankings? Oh, I left 10 there. Is it San Francisco? Okay, so the number of rankings is equal to the candidates running up to 6. So, like if there's only 4 candidates running, there'll be 4 rankings, so does that make sense?
I think it might make sense to say up to a maximum of 6 rankings instead of candidates in that case. Because it makes it kind of sound like
Yeah.
you're limiting the
Yeah, there could
ballot
be
to 6
10,
candidates.
10 or 12 candidates. Yeah.
Up to 6 rankings. The number of rankings will be equal to the number of candidates running for the office up to a maximum of 6 rankings. Okay. Okay.
I think you got a space between the office and up too. Or is that a oh,
It's
that's
a
a comma. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't see that.
Okay. So if I rank other candidates, does it affect my first choice? And that's a no as well. So I may move these around. Do you guys think, and put all these questions about rankings and that kind of stuff together? Because they seem to be a little bit, there's one here, there, one there, one here, there. And so, no, your first choice is
Yeah,
your candidate
it'd
in
be
your first.
good to lump all the similar questions together
Yeah,
because that's
yeah,
people will, spin off to have another question. You'll have the answer right there.
yeah. So I'll do that after we get today. Under what circumstances can my first choice be eliminated? So, of course, if anybody wins 50% in the first choice votes, they are, of course, they are declared the winner, right? The majority rules, because you'll have more than 3, in a more than 3 candidate race. Anyone with over 50 has 50 plus 1 wins you the race, right? So the last place candidate is eliminated. If your first choice is eliminated, then your next choice. So that just kind of explains what happens if your first choice is eliminated. Then your next choice will go on. Your second choice will be. Oh, this is a question, believe it or not, that comes up a lot. It's like, if I really want my first choice to win, should I rank the candidate my first, second, third, and choice, and so on? And, you know, you see pictures of that, like, you know, when you go to, you know, sites like San Francisco and stuff, you see pictures of ballots where people actually do that. And so it's good information out there that doesn't help your first, you know, once you choose them as the first choice, any other, you can't rank them for anything else. You know, it can't be your first, second, third, and fourth choice. So, can I give multiple candidates the same ranking? And that's another thing that happens when you see like ballots that are exhausted. And those rules will be done according to our ballot language by the canvassing board, and so those rules will be implemented and in place, and the canvassing boards will be have examples of what would exhaust your ballot, what wouldn't exhaust your ballot, and those kind of things.
I think if
There-
people had another image of the ballot, they know that they can't do that.
I know there's
So that might be another spot for an image if you could do that.
right. But I think we're getting too much into kind of, we want to explain ranked choice voting, but this isn't the, you know, there's clearly going to be more education, right? With pictures and all this other stuff. So I really just want to, for what we present to do, I was trying to get like the basics. But yeah, because clearly, you know, there's going to be more education once it's implemented. Let's see. Can I give multiple candidates the same? We already went to that. And then people are asking like who is going to be using ranked choice voting, and that even came from one of our commissioners asking if would it only be Clark County elections. And it's like yes, yeah. So
I would, yeah. Um, I would say saying what offices will use ranked choice or what elected offices will use ranked choice voting so that it's specific.
well, I think it's specific in the next sentence there.
Well,
Oh,
I know, but I meant the
wait.
question. Uh,
Elected
uh,
secretary.
Yeah, I agree with you, Doug. I get where you're going with that one, and yeah, I think it makes the question, especially because with the way the drop downs work on the FAQ online, you know exactly what I think it gets more to the heart of it. I think that's a good call. 'Cause just remember, I think it's good to remember that when these are online, you will see the question, you'll click the question and drop down the
Oh, got
answer.
it.
So you want to
ah,
be able to see exactly where you're at.
Okay, so does
Uh,
that look better?
yeah, that's fine.
That's
Yeah,
better?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would like to go through that list. I would su suggest you put in assessor, then auditor, clerk. Uh,
Oh, I forgot the auditor.
yeah, put the
The clerk,
put the
wow.
And
yeah,
clerk.
and then the clerk. Take the treasurer. Put the treasurer at the bottom. They deserve to be always at the bottom.
Oh, we're
That's
not ranking these clerk.
prosecuting. Oh, you got the prosecuting attorney is his name. You got treasurer in there twice. Yeah.
You're ahead of me, dude. Assessor, treasurer, auditor, clerk, county counselors, sheriff, and prosecutor. Is that all of them?
Prosecuting attorney. Prosecuting, not prosecutor. Prosecuting. Oop.
What? Oh my God, I can't spell.
While you're typing that, I did notice that on my Word document where we're a number off. So was there one that was eliminated before I was able to log on?
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I had put up another draft
Oh, okay.
because I had worked on it. So I sent another email out going, "Oh, here's a better draft," you know, because I kind of tried to clean things up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I would say for these county offices only, or only these county offices, so that people, it won't be the judges, and it because there's, they have judges, and it won't be, like state legislators or anybody else.
Okay. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I included this data. I don't know if people want this data. This is more for you guys. So
I like that.
I took and I just looked at and only because there was a lot of like question about people like, oh no primary. And so the benefits to combining the primary and the general is huge because it's way more representative of what voters want, so having the primary and general combined is also very, so this is the rationale for that.
Yeah.
Turnout is so much lower in a primary. It's 35.89, and that's the average for our primary. And our general elections is 71.66. So clearly, you're getting more voter input, and you're getting the more will of the voters with a 71.66 average voter turnout. I do want to let everybody know there are. I like using the term combining the primary, and only because if you say eliminating the primary, people feel like something is taken away from them. And combining it, the primary and the general together, makes them understand that you are still using, it's not like you're losing the primary, it's just combined. And so it just, you don't get that shock feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm losing something. So that's
Well,
why I
yeah.
used the language combining.
Yeah. You're basically having maybe around 17-18% of the voters making a decision on who the two candidates that you get to vote on,
I know.
versus, and at least you got 35% of the voters in a general election making that decision.
Right. I agree. So is that worded okay? Are you guys okay with that wording? Do you have any input on it? You good with it? Um, I guess, let me look and see what else we were supposed to talk about today. So that's kind of, so
I,
that, do you want to leave this here? This is really just data for you guys, or do you want to think of a way to frame this about, benefits of combining? Maybe it should put benefits of combining the primary and the general.
Might spur people to read it more.
it strengthens democratic participation is what it does. But um, that may be more for the for campaign rather than putting it in here. I mean, I don't know how much.
Yeah, they're going to allow it.
Question.
So I'll just leave it like there, and I'll just go benefits of
Yeah, but
combining.
that's something that should be talked about in the for campaign. Whoever's going to be writing that.
Okay, so I'll leave this as is right now, and then the communications team can decide whether they want it in there or not. Does that sound okay? Yeah. Okay. So the other things that we were going to talk about is, and I was going to give you an update about with auditor conversations with Auditor Kinsey and legal, and then I wanted to discuss the slides. If anybody had any discussion about the slides for the town hall. The only question that I have is, and Anthony, I'm glad you're here because you're on that subcommittee, is they added a video, and they got the video from some Minneapolis or something like that. I mean, I don't have a super problem with the video, the link to a video, except for the link didn't work for me. I had to copy and paste it into things. You see it? I mean, had I picked a video, I probably would have picked something from the Ranked Choice Voting Resource Center just because they're not. But it's fine. It's nothing that I'm gonna. But is the subcommittee okay with what's there?
Where's the video?
It's on slide 12.
Oh, I guess I didn't play it.
I didn't even notice it was there because we should make sure it's actually a link. So if this gets PDF, you can click on it.
Yeah, it's not a link. I had to copy and paste it into YouTube.
So make sure that at least that gets from
It is.
the.
Can you do it?
But yeah, what's the video?
Can you share it? It's not my favorite video that I've ever seen. I knew Ranked Choice Voting, but
Where's MP? Oh, Minneapolis. Okay. So did you say you wanted me to share it?
yeah, do you want to play it? It's only a few seconds.
Yeah. Oh, here, let me. This is the advantage of numerous screens.
I know. I need that.
How do you do it?
He's gonna do it. Hold on.
Oh, I'd like to learn how to do all that.
Yeah, make sure your mics are muted before I push play. Otherwise, we're gonna be feedbacking left and right.
Oh, okay. I can do that. Is there no sound? I'm not hearing anything. Anthony, you're mute. You're muted. That's why there's no sound.
Oh, I need to not be muted for this sound to work?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's try that again.
Favorite color, the ranked choice voting. Instead of voting for just one color, get to rank your top three. The best. I want blue. Those win. Yes, I can live with it. That's everybody's vote. Under ranked choice voting rules, not enough. It's the most vote. More than 50% of the vote.
Can you guys hear it?
That is it. So we eliminate the.
Not really, huh? Okay, well, we tried.
Yeah, in some ways, I think it is.
The
I
only
don't
thing
know,
that
like
I
someone
do
watching playing
like-
cards, you know,
and it-
trick, with sleight of hand type thing going on.
The only
I don't know if
thing that I didn't
that's
really care for that video is it had kind of a rare thing that happened where there was a candidate that was slightly ahead that ended up not winning in that second round. And
I realized why I didn't have sound. I didn't push the button that allowed my computer audio to go through.
oh, okay. Well, we all know where it is now. We can look at it, but everybody look at it. And if you want to suggest to them to put another video, we can't. But I think it's pretty much a done deal, right? I don't really know how many people are gonna click on that. And
yeah, I think if there's something else you want, I think we can sneak it in there.
I don't know. I'll let you make that decision, Anthony, once you look at it. And let me know if you need something. You know, I think that I don't know. How do you guys feel?
I like
I mean,
it
it's pretty.
simplistic.
You liked it?
And
Yeah, it is pretty simple.
really simply shows a good visual representation of what it is. I think that's a good advantage to it.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Um, I understand that you guys can't use the graphic that we gave, right? Or are we still using that
Should we not?
with the little hand filling in the bubbles? Is
Oh,
that
we
still
have
on?
that on the 2 slides above that, don't we?
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
on both because we have the English and Spanish slides on. Oh, the slide isn't numbered. Oh no. Well, let's say 10 and 11. So apparently there's some fix up I need to do anyway. So but yeah, so
Okay.
the little hand fill in one is on those on 10 and 11 right before the slide with the video link.
Okay. Okay. I'm good. I'm good with that. Whatever you know happens with that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was little update from the drafting committee around ranked choice voting. I put the resolution together, and so we have a resolution with our current language dropped into the resolution, and with that we will just end up kind of adjusting that depending on language that Auditor Kimsey comes back and Chris Book. So it's all ready to go to be and to make it really easy. I will, those things are kind of difficult, because they all have to be numbered and, and so so that's ready to go. So it should be pretty easy to have our drafting of ranked choice voting done. So that's the drafting committee update. An update from the Auditor Kimsey. I think everybody saw that he sent back some suggestions, and they're actually quite minor. I did talk to him earlier, and he's, of course, at this time he's like super busy, and so I was really, actually, really thankful that he was able to give the draft, our language, to his staff, and they were able to come back with some suggestions. And it doesn't seem like anything that's unsurmountable. I am going to reach out to Dave O'Brien. I'm gonna give him. I'm going to let him look at the language and then come back, and I'll let Greg know what he has, what his input is on it. I do, and I told Greg I was going to do that, and he's like, yeah, that's great. So so that's how that's going to kind of run down. I do expect maybe some more input from the auditor, and I've always told him, and I think this committee has always said that we are doing everything we can to make implementation as easy and as successful as we can for the county auditor. So, and he appreciates that. And so we'll keep, taking into account. And from what I saw, there's nothing that's unreasonable in what he's asking to, changes in language and, wordsmithing of our. Nobody has about that and how that's going to happen, go down. I'm pretty really
Terry, you're cutting
happy
out.
with.
We're losing you.
Okay, I feel really good about it. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah.
And with everybody coming together and having everybody happy with the final product. So, any questions about that, or no? No? Well, I think I'll just open it in a good of the order. Does anybody have anything that they would like to bring up about interest voting? I do know that I do want to let you guys know that I have had, people that I know that are real ranked choice voting advocates that are like super excited, and will probably, and just to let you know, they'll probably be at that meeting, the next couple meetings, because they're dying to see what we're actually gonna, put forward. So they're excited about it. So they will be at that meeting. That's about it. nobody has anything else to add, I will call this meeting adjourned, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, consensus there? Okay, thank you everyone for joining, and the meeting is adjourned.